It says, hey, what's going on, Facebook? How are you guys doing? You know what it is. It's that time for the podcast to go live, and we're doing what we usually do, making sure that we share this on the various platforms. For those of you that are here and you're new, you're getting used to seeing who we are. I'm Marcus Crenshaw, I'm a business and sales coach, and I got my girl here with me, Peekaboo, who
What's
is
up?
got my bad. Let go, girl. I'm
No,
so in the
that's good. No, it's okay. Hey, you guys, Peek out here in Singapore. I am your emotional mental health coach out here in the tropics, ready to stir some stuff up because we got some stuff to talk about today. We're not
Yeah,
gonna we're gonna hit it head on and see what happens.
yeah. You know what's so crazy? It's just starting to feel like that's just the thing. Every week it seems like there's like some straight up like hardcore ish to bring up. And so I'm not sure who's on the business page with us already. Just bear with us 2 seconds. I am gonna get that link for you guys. Hey Viv, hey Kami. I'm gonna I don't know why, and I've told you guys this before. Usually I could go to my business page and just share, um click the share button and share from my business page to my personal page, but Facebook isn't letting me do that anymore. So this one is racism, politics, and religion. Business owners,
All the big ones.
yeah, should your personal page be private? And I think this is a juicy one because I had someone present this question. And so we're about to have a very candid conversation. Um, I'm going to paint the picture, and then after that, I'm going to go ahead and get this link so that you guys can chime in live, because you know I like it when you live better instead of typing in the comments. That way we can have some good convo. Hey, Celestine, thank you, beautiful. I see you've already shared the video. Oh wow, looks like Camille has too. Thank you so much, you guys, for always having the love and support to do that. And so I'm gonna just basically kind of paint where this picture came from. You guys already know what's going on in the world right now. So you got some crazy person decided that, and somebody may already be pissed off because I call them crazy, right? Some crazy person decided wanted to go to Walmart and just, be pistol happy and just shoot a bunch of people, and they were taken in by the authorities, and didn't get even a slap on the hand. And then we already have seen the circulation of the picture of the young black male who was, we won't even go into the details of that because it's the same thing that always happens. And so there's been this thing circulating where the two pictures have been side by side, and these individuals have been compared. Here we are in American society again. And so one young woman I know who shared some pretty controversial stuff on her page shared it, and she went back and forward with someone on her post. The conflict gets bigger because it was a client. And so the question then comes in, oh, should you really be keeping your personal page open, or keep it open and censor your views as a business owner in order to protect your business, your brand? How do you guys feel about that? So that's what triggered me to go ahead and make this a podcast episode. While I'm sharing the link, you want to go ahead and take over? I would love.
Absolutely.
Woohoo! Let's hear what you
Ooh.
got to say.
So, um, first of all, shout out to everybody who's been affected by this because this is not okay
No, it's
in
not.
any shape or form. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what your background is. I don't care what country you're in. Singapore, we're facing a little bit of a similar controversy where we're talking about the brown face ads where people are just, up in arms about racism in general. So, yes, I realize there is a problem. No, I'm not saying it's okay, but should you pretend that you don't have a say in the matter to protect your brand is the aspect that I'm coming at it from. Um, I think I speak for you too, August, when I say that, you and I have been really good about making sure that we're transparent on all platforms. Whenever we go live, whatever we're talking about, it's the same thing no matter where we are. We have never really shown one face outside and then shown a different face on our page. We are who we say we are all the time.
Yes.
So I don't condone any sort of behavior. I don't condone that there's like one rule for one set of people and a different rule for another set of people. I don't like that at all. That's not how we move forward as a species. So forget the race part. As a species, that's not how we move forward well. So I personally will not change who I am, no matter where I am. I'm not going to censor people. I'm not going to avoid touchy situations just because it's a problem for people. I would rather speak about that. And that's part of what I teach, right?
Yeah.
The things we don't say cause more trouble than the things that we do say. And if you don't like it, that's cool. We can talk about that. I'm not saying you're wrong and I'm not saying I'm right. What I'm saying is this is something we should talk about. This is something we should not dance around. We should not pretend like it didn't happen because it affects all of us. It affects our kids. It affects every single one of us.
Yeah, now I'm going to kind of go a little deep and then I'm going to kind of
Please.
pull it back a little bit and then allow Kami to come in and talk with us. So here's my first thing. You know, when you work as a business owner, you want to enjoy what you do. You know, and I love all my clients. And every once in a while, because they got wonky stuff going in, they make me want to pull my hair out. But it's a good kind of pull your hair out because it's like, but I still see them growing and progressing. It's kind of like a parent. You know, sometimes you want to pull my kids, but ultimately, you still love them. And so when you are a business owner, and it's so funny, right? Because we'll call it our business baby, but how many people do we allow to come into that sanctuary? How many of them do we allow to be in our presence? And a lot of you all, you have conflicts with some of your clients and you don't even understand why it's kind of weird with them, especially if you do something like I did, doing hair, or if you have some type of brick or mortar business, or you do live events and you have multiple people around you at a time. Sometimes you don't even understand what this energy is that is around you. And it is because you've hidden a piece of yourself. And when you've hidden a piece of yourself, then they haven't had an opportunity to be triggered by you. And you know that they don't know it, but you know that you're hiding what you feel. And so when certain conversations and things come up, there's always that weirdness that no one can explain. And so for me personally, yes, one of the first coaches that I interviewed that basically thought they were doing a pitch to me was expressing how they thought that I should not express my spiritual views and how I shouldn't say certain things if I was going to market myself and I wanted to be successful as a coach. Well, for me, I didn't agree with that. And what you see is what you get. And energetically, even when the shit is kind of rocky, I want to know that I'm around people that we're of a like mind, that we're pressing through the same things, that we're going to go through the same things with one another. And so, me expressing who I am, what I believe, and what I've been through is what has allowed those bonds to be tighter. Once again, just kind of throwing different things out there, and I'll bring it back in. I was actually listening to a video with Eric Thomas, and he was talking about a time when he was offered an opportunity to speak at a corporation. And he said he turned it down because they said, we're going to pay you $30,000, but there's this one caveat: you've got to wear a suit and tie. Now everybody knows that ET is, they call him the hip hop preacher, right? And he always has on his caps and he always has on his tees. That's his brand and that's his styling. And then he began to talk about, you're not paying $30,000 for the suit, you're paying $30 for the brand. You get integrity, and I don't cuss and I do this and do that. And I feel the same way about my brand. There are a lot of things that I've done and events that I've been to where I haven't necessarily showed up dressed down to the nice, but still kind of having this cute, comfy, casual thing because I just want to be authentic through and through. And so the questions really isn't about whether or not you should or should not have stuff on your personal page. For me, it goes back to authenticity and transparency and self-comfort. So I know I said a lot, just throwing some opinions out there, but everybody's you're respected for having your own. And so, Camille, I would love for you to go ahead and come on in and chime in, beautiful, and bless us with yours.
Hey, Camille.
Yeah, hey, how y'all doing?
Oh, you got me real good.
So, So for me, this authenticity thing is really important because with the clients that I attract, me being able to state a position about the things that are happening right now is an attraction piece for me.
Yeah.
But there's also this need for me to be able to make sure that part of the reason why I have my own business is so I can live my life the way that I want to. And if living my life means that I'm sharing my truth, and in this moment, my truth is ugly, it's not necessarily for me to censor that. That's not what I'm here for. I'm not here to censor that. Me being able to do and say what I think and feel is supposed to be a blessing to everybody. Whether you like it or not, whether it's uncomfortable or not, the discomfort that you have, that ain't on me, that's on you. And if I'm sharing with you that this particular instance, like right now, I have anger, fear, and disdain all over the place once again when it comes to this particular thing, because I'm looking at my 4 babies who, just because of who they are and what they look like, can be treated any kind of way that I can't always control because I'm not always there. So I'm within my right to be able to say, look, if it looks like a duck, talks like a duck, you don't have a right to call it a chicken. and I think I should be, if my clients should be okay with me being able to express that. And if my clients are not okay, that sounds to me like that's a reevaluation of our relationship then, because I'm really clear that I'm for my people. And if my people are in trouble, I'm going to speak up for my people. And if that's a problem for you, that's a problem for you, because I'm going to continue to speak up for my people.
I would just like to also add in there as well, you know, a lot of times we don't realize it, but we bring corporate policies into an entrepreneurial arena. You know, in the corporate world, you can't choose who's in the cubicle next to you. You don't like, you know, the person they get on your nerves. You can't choose your boss. You know what I'm saying? You can't choose the person on the other end of a call that you're serving. But, you know, one of the things that I mentioned to this young lady who brought up the conversation was I had a woman that was in a $6,000 contract. We got to month 2 and I was like, no, she came and she sold a persona that was lined up with the kind of person that I would like to work with. Not only did I tell her about herself professionally, submitted some things in writing and told her that I was doing her a favor by relinquishing of her liability to pay that bill. That was $5,000 that I did not get. I told her I don't want anything to do with you. And then I blocked her on everything because I didn't want to communicate with her anymore. And I have that right to do that. And so the entrepreneurship is about freedom. And, you know, it's not about the childlike of freedom, but it is about freedom nonetheless to be able to make choices. And a lot of you all, the reason why you don't like your business is because you have yourself in a stranglehold because you're still people pleasing. And, you know, for this young lady in particular, I do know that in one season in our relationship, she had mentioned that because she is an African American woman and she does have a predominantly white audience, that even in her business that she has shielded her blackness. And so I understand that there are certain accounts in certain corporations that will never have August come because I've got this shaved side and because, you know, I speak a certain kind of way and sometimes I cuss and sometimes I use slang. But you want to know something? At the end of the day, they're dumb as fuck because they're going to miss out on absolute genius. You know, yes, I cuss and I do what I do, but I wouldn't go in my grandmother's church or my grandmother's house and speak this way. But when you're in my house, it's my rules. And the question is, in your house, do I respect your rules? And if Gary Vee could do it, then August Crenshaw could do it. And if you don't get me now, maybe you got to wait till I get some more results. But by the time you get me later, I'm going to be charging Gary Vee prices. So, you know, I am the kind of person that I've never done anything for money. And the reason why I'm saying this is because the person made the comment that, you know, hey, you know, how do you feel about this? And they put in there because how do you perceive that as you losing a client? So then you're making decisions based off of money. People always say, what does it profit the world? What does it mean for you to profit the world, to gain the world, but lose your soul? But what does it profit a man? I can say to save my life, to gain and to lose his soul. But I tell people all the time, you know, and I'm not saying that this person in particular is broke, but I'm just saying broke people are the ones who have a tendency to compromise their values for $1. So you think that The proof that you compromise your soul is that you're rich. No, the proof that you compromise your soul is that you're broke and you keep on changing and not being who you are for the sake of a dollar. Now that's something to think about.
And I want to chime in because I feel like this whole the decision to become a business owner, right, is one of those big tests of who what your character actually is. Because in order to get that know, like, trust factor, you need to be able to speak to the client, right? Which means you need to dig deep and reveal what you've been through and how you feel. You need to put your, your morals and your values and what you stand for out on the line a little bit. So at some point, maybe up till a certain point, you've been able to shy away from all the politics of it all. I don't watch the news. I try really hard not to chime in when I see stuff about Trump and I see stuff about, various political issues that really don't make any sense to me. I try not to get into that. But at some point, I'm gonna have to put my foot down. I'm gonna have to say something. When it comes to racism, I don't believe that you should put people into categories. We're all human. We both have 2 legs, 2 arms, 2 eyes, all of that stuff. We generally think the same way. We generally need the same things. We generally are looking for attention and love. And that's basically how we go down. But if you expect me not to put myself out there, and I'm knowingly doing this, to identify with my culture, with Asians, with people who lived in the States at some point, people who've been through certain traumas, I'm putting myself out there. That also means at some point, I'm going to have to pick a side. I can't sit by and let things happen and not say something about it and be part of the problem. If I'm telling people that I'm here to help you, I'm here to help you heal, I'm here to give you a solution to some of your problems, this is part of that.
What I basically heard, what I took from the entire thing that you said, if I were to surmise it, is that a lot of people don't realize that this is not the place where you play neutral. You know what I'm saying? Business owners can't play neutral. Let's not even bring up politics and racism and all of that stuff. If you decide that you want to sell organic food, you've taken a very strong stance against processed foods. You've taken a very strong stance against people who use steroids in animals. You know what I'm saying? When you decide that you want to be a business owner, you have realized that there's something missing, that you feel the void, and you feel strongly enough about it to put your life, your resources, and your time on the line in order to go through the developmental process, in order to become profitable. And so being neutral is not possible. Now, for me personally, one thing I will say is this: I don't make a habit of putting a lot of racially emotional stuff out there. And sometimes I try not too much with the religious part. I try to stick to business a lot. But when the time comes, I do put certain things out there. But for the most part, what I regulate is, how is August feeling at that moment? If something triggers in me without the prompting of something from the news or society or social media, because I was in meditation and something hit my spirit or whatever, then I speak about it. My issue as well with some of these things that upset you all and infuriate you all and that you're questioning yourself about is, do you even really feel the way that you feel about the situation? Are you even really as turned on or turned off by it? Or are you being, like you said, controlled by propaganda? Because I personally, I don't watch the news. I don't even have regular TV. It's streaming, and it's streaming only. I get the news from social media. That's as close as it gets. Okay. And that's how I'm like made aware of certain things, and I don't know. But for me, I'm not going to allow what's being put out there to be my focus, because it is predominantly used to be a distraction. And that's what you really have to ask yourself when these triggering level conversations come up and you have these different things going on. Are you putting it out there because it's going to benefit you, your community, and your business? Like, cause think about those controversial videos that I did about religion a couple of weeks ago. Oh, people were in a tizzy about it. And I was like, I don't give a fuck what you say. And I'm sitting there, yep, I'm talking about God and I just cuss, but I'm telling it like it is. And if you don't like it, bye. Now, of course, people commented on it. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Y'all got to stop being in your feelings, because people, you only come and comment on my stuff. Don't put it on social media. Now, of course, I talk shit until you get on. But my thing is this: if you say something where I feel like you're attacking me, you're demeaning me, you're not respecting me, it's really simple. I just block people. I unfriend them. I block them. You know what I'm saying? I told you I got a block list. I'm waiting for Facebook to tell me, boo boo, there's no more room, for you to block people anymore. But I personally just make a habit of when I speak about something, I'm bringing it up because I know it's a trigger for my clients. And because I'm not neutral, I know I got to say something so that you all know exactly where I stand, because you need to know that basically what Camille is saying, like with her brand, my clients need to know that I identify with their struggle. And a lot of my clients are dealing with some spiritual struggles and they feel condemned and they're not walking in their true authority. So I have to speak about things based on the way that I see them spiritually. And so for some of you, you may not have that deep of a connection or a correlation from client to client, business to business. Like for me, it's mindset work. With me, it's language and, identification, with your past,
Culture.
your culture. But for somebody else who may be, grooming dogs or doing something like that, it may not be a direct correlation to your business and it may not be important to your clients, but it is important for your clients to know, like, and trust you. Do they know you? Do they like you? And do they trust you?
So in this particular instance, right, I've already mentioned I deal with emotions, I deal with mental health. I talk about, how you can help heal yourself because you can't control the people outside of you. You can only control who you are and what you do, right? So recently I've been thinking about, the villain's point of view, where we talk about, movies where you have a villain, a specific villain, and you have like a good guy, whatever. But do you realize that if I were to come at it like only the good people have been traumatized and I need to help you guys, that means I'm dismissing an entire section of people that have been hurt, are acting out on purpose, people can see it, that they don't deserve help. So does that mean that if I'm talking about, how do I heal people who have been hurt by their parents or whatever, or hurt by their spouses, that you can't be hurt any other way? That's not how that works either. I'm here to make sure that if you feel like you've been hurt, you can at least dig in and figure out what it is about that situation that's hurting you. When it comes to things as big as racism, if you see that there is a problem and you feel that you're being put upon by other people, we need to deal with you and how you're seeing that. What's going on? How does that affect you? How can we help you so it doesn't knock you over every time you see it? I can't afford to pretend like it doesn't exist, because that kind of negates your very existence almost. I'm telling you, oh, you're making that up. That's not real. There's no racism in Singapore. That doesn't happen. Yeah, absolutely there is. People see it on a daily basis. Some people get preferential treatment. Some people get away with certain things that we see on a daily basis. And if I'm going to sit here and pretend like I don't see it, how effective am I actually going to be? What am I actually standing for then? I don't stand for much of anything. You can't be kind of pregnant. Either you're pregnant or you're not, right?
Mm-hmm.
You gotta take a stand at some point.
Yeah, come on, Camille. I see you. You're ready.
So I just put it in the comments on the Facebook page. I kind of want to say this out loud because you were saying something about, well, if you have like a brick and mortar, then you don't necessarily need to. Then you might not see the correlation. But one of the example that first came to my head was, if there's an event that happens that has you shook and scared and terrified for your babies, do your clients understand why you have altered your hours in order to love up on them a little bit more and a little bit longer that day? Or are they confused about where this came from? I don't understand. What you mean you closing at 3 today? I mean, but I needed you. Do they know enough about you to understand that in this moment, yep, I need to close at 3? I completely understand, because I know how you get when certain things happen. And I know that you want to make sure that your babies know that they're loved on. I'm cool with that. Girl, get your rest, or girl, give them a hug for me, and I'll see you tomorrow. Do they know enough about you to be understanding in those moments, or are they kind of looking at you as if that you are only this commodity and that you don't have relationship? If you got relationship with your clients, these are things that they'll understand. If you don't have relationship and you're just really just kind of treating them as checks and funds that come into your business, then yeah, it's going to be hard for you to be able to be your authentic self, because you're not even trying to see them authentically or share yourself authentically. You just exchange your money. That's it.
Oh, that right there, that hit the nail on the head. And thank you, Celestine. I had literally asked Pika before we did this if she thought it would be a good topic for the podcast. And Celestine,
I just wanted people to chime in. Yeah.
and she's like, great point, ladies. Love this. Yeah, but what you said is key. And that's it right there. I mean, are your clients people that you're just handling in exchange? Is it just about the currency? Because if that's what the case is, then yeah, it will be difficult in those times for them to understand when you make shifts. And those shifts are going to come. And let's just be real, the vast majority of entrepreneurs are solopreneurs. You do
Yep.
and you handle everything. And if you do have a brick and mortar business, you may have one employee here or there. It's family tends to be the ones to help you out. And so, no, they don't have to know all of your business, but then nevertheless, understanding who you are emotionally and socially does also allow them more liberty and freedom to understand when all of a sudden something happens and there's a crisis and you do have to shift. And it does allow them the opportunity to still say, I'll have to make minor adjustments, but still be loyal in that time of your inavailability. And I mean, I've had clients back in the day that didn't get their hair done. They were like, well, if I got to wait 2 more weeks, August, then that's just what it's going to be. And they would wait for me. Or if they absolutely felt like this is important, this is what I have to do. They like, I got a secondary person, but God knows she literally only for that once in a lifetime opportunity like this. And they ain't touching my hair again. And I'm coming back to you. And so the relationships that we create, if anything, and Pika, this is really your lane, that's really what's missing. A lot of us, we become entrepreneurs, but like I said, we keep bringing that corporate mindset into entrepreneurship. When you work for someone else, it really is just get up, get in the car, go to work, fulfill your duties and get paid. But most entrepreneurs are a personal brand, whether you understand that you're a personal brand or not. And even if you are branding your business, a product or service, it is still the story behind the brand, which is you, which is what pulls people into you. And so relationships, connecting with people and being emotionally solid enough to be vulnerable is what's missing from the fabric of society today. We can't communicate anything without getting into an emotional uproar, because I could talk to you about any of them. I could talk to you about any of these things and still stay right here as far as my demeanor. Now, y'all know I'll just project when I talk, so y'all might get a little, whoa, but
But see, this is the thing, right? You said we were able to just go with the flow and do what we're told, and get in a car and go to work every. Isn't that the whole damn reason we left corporate America, Singapore, wherever, to start something different, to make a change? Because it's not serving everyone. It's serving money, a bottom line, a pocketbook somewhere. Isn't that why, Camille, you're doing what you're doing the way you're doing it? Isn't that why, August, you're doing what you're doing the way you're doing it? I'm not doing this because I just want a paycheck. I'm doing this because we need a change. Something has to change. I can't sit here and pretend like, oh, I don't want to offend anybody, so I'm just going to pretend to offer a little bit of a solution sometimes when I feel like it. No, there is pain everywhere I look. There are a lot of people very angry. We're real quick to get angry, but we're not very good about looking at ourselves and why that anger is popping up. Where is it coming from? What in our past really upset us to the point that every time we see this color or this word or this, this image pisses us off to the point that we want to, share everybody's memes and then it's done. I want a community where we can talk about what's really going on, maybe agree to disagree, but at least let's discuss it so we can come to some kind of a middle ground and figure out how to move forward. It's not enough to say, oh yeah, those people over there and these people over here. Nah, we need to change. We need to stand for something together. We can stand together for something. I'm not blaming anyone. I'm saying be real. Be you finally, please.
ooh, will the real you please stand up? Via Lies, I got a quoter. She said, it's not easy to be vulnerable, but it's necessary to be effective. And I just want to pose this. Not everybody, but let's just be real. The vast majority of people that follow me, whatever your entrepreneurial endeavor is, you are a heart-centered entrepreneur.
Mhm.
Now, the question you have to ask yourself is this: am I really responding to the call? If you know that you're really responding to the call, then that means no pressure of any kind is going to keep you from living, being, and doing what is inside of you. And so when you get to that point, a lot of these things you can discuss them or either not discuss them because you are very firm in your existence. And so I remember one time somebody tagged me in a post and they were from my home city and they were like, yeah, such and such is going down in STL and this is happening. If you was here, you could do whoop, whoop, and whoop. And on one hand, somebody else might have been like, hey, they calling on me, talking about I can. And I was like, well, this really bothers you and you're there. So what is disturbing you about it? And then that individual said, oh, my bad. I guess I reached out to the wrong person and said a bunch of other stuff. And I remember doing a live video and coming back and saying, no, you will not dismiss me like that. You will not make it seem like you reached out to the wrong person. You will not make it seem like I do not care about what's going on in my city. You will not act like I do not care about what's going on with my people. And you will not act like because what you wanted me to do because I didn't do it doesn't mean that I am inactive. I care a whole lot about what's going on in Black America. But like I explained on that video, I said, what are you doing to change anything? Because let me tell you what I'm doing. Here go the Black women that wasn't making money in their business that pulled in 20K in 4 months, who pulled in 30,000 in 7 weeks, who's launched in 3 months and who started selling $2,000 packages and just started rattling off all of these different results that I've gotten from different people. I said, so every time I empower a sister to be able to make money, she's able to change her zip code. She's able to change what she drives. She's able to change her diet to be able to afford to eat the right foods. She's able to be able to fund her philanthropic desires. I said, so at the end of the day, for me to respond to the agenda, because that's what the fuck it is, it's an agenda. It is to empower the people that I know will provoke change. Empowering someone like you, Pika, that means we in the same, we in the front lines together, warring for this thing. Camille's in the front lines, warring for this thing. Imani, I see you warring emotional intelligence. Camille is warring with the language, and Imani is warring with the marriage, and Damari is warring with the families, and Tiffany is warring with the healing and the health, and Anitra is warring for the business owner to be able to stay in position, to be able to get to the people that she needs to serve. All of us are warring together. So every time I build somebody up, that's what I'm doing. But see, nobody can shake me or make me feel like shit when I don't respond to what they want me to respond to, because I understand that I already answered the call. My question is, have you all answered the call, or are you, and this is part of the litmus test for you to know the truth of whether or not you're doing something specifically just to make money, or you've answered the call. And yes, you can answer the call and still get paid, because your gift is valuable and people should take care of you in order for you to be able to continue to take care of things that are important to them. But people are not going to respect your value if you're not showing them who you truly are. And so when I say to people, I mean, I reach out to people sometimes and I'm like, hey, what's good? Let's just get on a call and let's talk. I mean, they've already said things that have alluded to the fact that they're not ready to invest. But if I really feel in my spirit like they're meant to be a client of mine, let me talk to you. And one of the first things people will say is, I've already decided I ain't gonna disrespect you, sister. I respect your work, and until I get my money straight, I'm not gonna say anything to you. And I tell them, well, while I respect that, that's cool. Please respect the fact that the divine has laid it on my spirit to drop something off on you. And so when you actually, the very things that you all are warring against saying and being real about is the things that will make people say, this person's really about their business. And yes, Viv, man, you say soldiers, I say where the warriors at. But we on the same page, right? You say
let's gladiators, yep.
Yeah, you say, and Pika says gladiators. We understand that there's a fight here. There's a real fight here, but the fight has to be, you can't put out the fire by being angry. You can't put out the fire by posting. You can't put out the fire by going tit for tat. You got to put out the fire by being in position. And and
I like that, that example you're saying. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut in. But when you're talking about the fire, right? It's not enough for you to be like, oh my God, fire over there, fire over there. Oh my God, fire over there. What are you going to go do? Like, I can't even speak right now. I'm so angry. But the point is, it's real easy to talk about people. It's really to join the conversation. Oh my God, Trump. Or oh my God, this person. Oh my God, white people. Yes, we can join in the chorus, or we could do something about it. I decided to do something about it. It's not to say that I didn't have a problem with that either. It's not to say that I censored myself for a little while. I was worried about what I was going to say. I tried to start talking about infidelity and whether you can come back from that or not, whether you can stay within the marriage instead of like leaving to fix what's going on, which means that it takes two hands to clap. We got to look at both people. But what happened? Everybody got up in arms and people started, accusing people and trying to fill in the blanks and figure out who I was talking about. And I backed up. I got scared. I'm not going to lie. I got scared. but it's not to mean that I'm not going to keep looking for what I'm supposed to be doing here. I'm going to try again from probably a different angle, but I can't pretend that this doesn't exist. I can't just point my finger and say, hey, fire over there. I need to at some point pick up water or something to snuff out that fire. It's not enough to pass the buck and say, hey, August, you do this work, right? Your city's burning. Can you go fix it? And you're absolutely right to turn back and be like, well, what are you doing? You just go stand there and watch and wait for me to come fix it? I'm not a hero for every corner of the world. Do your part. I'm doing my part. You do your part.
Yeah, and someone just made a comment on the post, and I just want to say this because they said, I understand why you reach out. And I know that a lot of times I reached out to different people, and that, you know, that this is a person that's openly watching, but a lot of people troll. And I understand that most people, when they reach out, it's literally always only about the sales pitch. And so a lot of people turn down those opportunities and they don't talk to me. When now, as you continue to get to know me, then people can say, oh, wait a minute. So she reached out, because when she says that phrase, I see you, that means that she really sees something in me. And that because I'm in position, because what I do is not about the money, if I see a place where I believe God has put it in my heart to put out value, then that's what I do. And see, most of us, we can't really put out the value that we're supposed to put out because we're too moved by all of these topics. Now, I could get really shitty and people could get upset with me, but at the end of the day, what good is talking about Trump or any of this stuff going to do? Because how about, you know, I shake all your shit up and y'all Kanye West me. But at the last time, the projects looked the same, whether it was Trump, whether it was Obama, or whether it was Bush. Don't give me, some of you might say, oh, well, because of this, I got this tax breaks when I filed my income taxes, or this happened when I got my student loans. But your overall quality of life, the government has an agenda. At the end of the day, even Trump's silly ass is just a puppet. Whether he was in office or Hillary was in office, the powers that be that you don't see were the ones that were still going to make sure what happened. And so some of you are so naive that you're so busy talking about Trump that you're not paying attention to the issues. And you're not saying that if this bothers me that much, what am I doing in order to change it? And so a lot of you are arguing about stuff on your personal profile, but you don't even realize the fact that you're arguing with it and you are upset by the way that people respond to it is because some of you all actually feel really shitty because you feel defenseless. That's what, see, for me, everything is about CEO mentality. It's about reflecting stuff back on you. And I was on a mastermind call the other day and I said something, and one of the ladies was like, well, what does that say about what you see in the mirror, August? And I was like, oh, you make me sick, because that's the truth. I have to go back and I have to meditate on those things. So what I want to say specifically for my people is that, for my Black people, listen to me. A lot of you all are circulating what we already know to be true. The only time they were not killing us is when we were actual slaves because we were valuable. Other than that, we were sheep, so we were sent to the slaughter. Soon as we wasn't slaves no more, we had a form of freedom. They was like, hang them. We were the fruit hanging from the tree, the strange fruit. There's nothing new that we don't know. And so when you put that out there and people start responding, what you want essentially is for a bunch of people to respond and say, yeah. And you need that rally, yeah, because you personally feel defenseless. And we've got to get out of a state of feeling like there's nothing that we can do. And see what's happening with my people in particular. Please pay attention. And this is not just for Black people, because at the end of the day, what has moved with Black people, there have been people of all cultures all around the world that have always been about the same agenda. But I'm speaking to this specific part for my Black people. For the evil, malicious white mofos that are doing what they're doing, they have mastered an art that we have lost. And that is called stealth. They move very stealthily, and they put all kinds of distractions in front of us so that we pay attention to everything other than what's really important. See, that's what MLK and them had. Yeah, they word got out about the bus boy cow, but before the word got out, they had their agenda and they planned it. See, what's wrong with a lot of you all is some of the things that you're talking about on social media, you really should cuff it in your pocket. You should never say shit. You should be doing shit. And then when you turn around and people trying to figure out how is it that you did what you did and you come out, so you should stop talking and you should start walking. But what you're really dealing with is the fact that emotionally you feel helpless. Stop feeling helpless. Start being studious. Start designing a strategy and then bucking back up against the system. But because we're so loud and we're so boisterous, y'all don't even understand that this is psychological spiritual warfare at its finest that keeps us where we are. It keeps us where we are. So I know that I went on a different tangent, but honestly, whether even if you don't 100% agree with me, take the time and really go back, you know what I'm saying? And think about that. When you put out a post that says that, what are you looking for? You already know people gonna get angry. See, there go another motherfucking cop there, woo, woo, woo. Or somebody's, we've got to change, you know what's going to happen, and there's going to be some white person that's going to come and say something. Well, they shouldn't have looked that way. That's a form of disrespect. What does that have to, what the conversation is going to look like?
It's going to sidetrack. You're going to miss the entire point because you're looking for like-minded people, and that's something that I actually teach. So when we talk about who do you keep around you when you're upset, there was a time in my life when I was upset, I called people that I knew what their reaction was going to be when I told them. I didn't call the people that were going to call me out and put me in my place and tell me, Pika, you're overreacting. I called the people that are going to be upset just like I am right now. So I had more time to vent.
Yeah.
I was calling them with a purpose. It was not the right purpose at the time. I just needed someone to commiserate with. Misery loves company. And that's what I did. Yeah. Until I realized that, it kept me in that feeling a little too long. It kept me in that broke down negative mindset. I can't do nothing. The world is just happening to me. Oh, I can't, I'm stuck. I'm a victim, all these things. And I called those people on purpose. And that's what a lot of people are doing. A lot of these people who are so-called influencers, they post in a specific manner, knowing that the vast majority, because they feel the way that they do, will share and post and like and comment because it's charged. It's a very charged post. It's not about change. It's about keeping that anger going.
Yeah.
When the bombings happened in Sri Lanka, that's the first thing that happened. Oh my God, this set of people did this. And oh my God, it was, this religious group. It was this economical group that started the bombings. But what they weren't talking about was, okay, well, what do we do now? All right, so this happened. It's finished. People are dead. They're dying. They're hurt. Everyone, there were casualties on both sides. There was collateral damage everywhere. What are we going to do now? Are we going to shut the country off? Are we going to put them aside and be like, okay, no one go to Sri Lanka. It's the worst place in the world to go right now. You can't afford to do that. We can't do blanket statements like white people. No, there are a few of y'all that just, I don't know what's going on with y'all. I feel sorry for you. But the rest of y'all, don't just stand there and be like, oh, they're talking about us too. No, do something. If you feel that somebody is doing something wrong, stand up, say something, become part of the solution. Don't just go with the flow like dead fish.
Yeah, I like the fact that you talked about that charged part. And I did a video, and this is a couple months back, and it was about betrayal. And so, what does that look like when you surrender to betrayal? And this is something I want you all to really think about. When something happens to you, and I don't care what it is, that it negates, that it distracts you, it takes your focus away from your primary mission, then you are showing a lack of maturity. I know we don't want to hear it like this, but you got to really think about it. If somebody says something to me, I see your name first. If Viv inspires, her and I are great friends. And if she does something and she pisses me off because I feel like she betrayed me, let's say I know you're going to do this, sis, but she stole my products and my proprietary system, and now she's claiming it as her own and she's selling it. Okay. Now I can get mad and I can get heated and I can call somebody, and let's just say Pika will let me wallow in my shit, but we friends because we don't let each other wallow in our shit. So once again, these are just examples. And I'm talking about that. Before I realize it, the time it took for me to brute and be mad, finally catch up and talk to you, finish talking to you. And what do most people do? You talk to one person and you call somebody else because you know how you gotta flush it out, and then you find you're sitting around.
Keep it going.
And before you know it, hours have gone by.
Yeah.
Now, instead of tripping off the fact that Viv stole my stuff, And I say to myself, okay, but Divine, what's the bigger picture? First of all, though she can't sell my stuff, she still thinks that she's selling my stuff. She's really selling her personality, and she can sell the structure, but she can't sell the delivery. So
Yep.
she's going to flop with her audience, or it won't be able to work that well. And at the end of the day, even though I have the delivery, people may just like her persona, which means those
Okay.
clients were never mine in the first place. And
Yes.
so she really couldn't steal anything from me that was for me. So what I can do is say, okay, well, wait a minute. What did I do or didn't I do? Was I supposed to get a trademark on this and a copyright on that and a patent on this? And then I have to go back to CEO mentality and look at myself. And when I go back and I look at myself and I realize that I didn't have my shit in order so it doesn't happen again, and so that I don't blame her, I get on myself for leaving myself vulnerable, but I also still can't stand a pity party. I've got to be clear so that I do things decent in order to protect myself in the future, so that the next time that happens, I send her in a letter from my attorney that says cease and desist before I own you, your house, your clothes, your underwear, even though I don't want them, you not gonna have nothing. You know what I'm saying? And so it's a maturity thing to sit there and say it's not about blaming yourself, but for every single situation that crosses my path, what does it say about me? What
Yep.
can I do better? How did I leave myself open? And so, I know we veered and we went so many different directions, but at the end of the day, what you stand for and what you believe in is a part of the fiber of your existence. It is the reason why you wake up in the morning and why you do what you do. And if it is that important to you, baby, be you. Everybody has to make their own decisions. But I will honestly say this: if I realize that all of a sudden, like, I love Jacqueline. If Jacqueline comes to me and says something crazy about the guy being shot and this should have happened, and the guy getting beat up and held on the ground, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna fire her ass. I love her, but I'm just not gonna work with her because I will not be controlled by money, and I will not have anybody in my circle that does not belong there. Successful people control their circle. They
Yep.
control who's in their ear. They don't accept all offers and all deals. You don't lose money problems because you have more money. You just get a different type of problem. And
Yep.
so be authentic, stand up, say who you are, be who you are. And when a person identifies who they are and they in their feelings, you either something that you can tolerate and you can go through, or it's a non-negotiable and that person can't be connected to you anymore. That's just where I stand with all of it.
Absolutely. And it's more than just, how we present ourselves. We have absolutely every right to say, you know what? If I have this client is going to take me off the beaten path where I've been trying to, make a stand for so long, is going to have me stressed out over things that I don't believe in the first place. I'm going to save myself the drama so I can actually appear and not appear, but deliver the way I need to for the other people that need me. So I'm going to decide not to be involved this way. But in the meantime, I want y'all to really think about this. There are so many things out there that are going on. We can't afford to be quiet and pretend like it doesn't exist no more. We can't join the crowd like, oh my God, I can't believe, and then keep on going until the next drama piece unfolds. There are more of us than there are of them. It's about damn time we stand together. We can make a change.
Mm.
Every damn one of us.
Okay. So I'm gonna leave us. I'm gonna close us out with this note. We've been on for about a good 50 minutes. I'm gonna use an analogy from a story because you just said it. There are more of us than there are them. You all don't even realize how fearful. See, when you're evil and your primary existence is because of manipulation and standing on people and taking advantage of them, you always sleep with one eye open. Even the person who believes they have the biggest, best plans. You know how you watch the movies with the bad guys and all that, and that's why, like, even though New Jack City, am I my brother's people? But no, because that paranoia of always being violated is there.
Yep.
And so one of the biggest forms of paranoia that people have ever had that have been in a place of authority where they know they've taken advantage of people has always been an uprising. It has always been an uprising. And this is why you all have to understand that psychological and spiritual warfare is of the utmost in our lives right now. And everything that's being put in front of you, all of the timing of the events, all of it is released on purpose. I need you to understand that they've always wanted to destroy the population. Control always begins with the suppressed people. An example of that would be in the Bible when the Egyptians had the Israelites under slavery and they were growing. They had so many people building all of these wonderful palaces. The Pharaoh passed the ordinance, a law that said, kill all of the boys that are under 2, because there's too many of them coming. And if those men get up and they get strong, if they become strong and if they get in position, think about it. We got them slaving, picking up bricks. They're going to be strong as hell. They're going to take us out. And so they started killing little babies. They had midwives doing it. Some of them did it. Some of them disobeyed. It was the same thing even when Jesus came. It be the slightest thought that anything was going to come against them, same decree. Any young men that are under the age of 2, let's make sure we wipe them all out. And so that mentality is still there. And so once again, if you know that the agenda, I didn't went all the way left field on this topic, but if you know the agenda is to wipe us out, pause, redirect your attention and focus, because you've missed the mark. You don't understand how powerful you are. But as long as you can be mind fucked by imagery and what's going on in the world, and you're an emotional scatterbrain, you can't hold your position. Like think about it. In the military, why do you think those sergeants, that's why your mama ain't shit, blah, 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 blah. Why do you think they get yelled at?
Barking at you, yep.
Why do they make them wake up in the middle of the morning and run in the rain and do all of these drills? Because they're mentally making them strong, because they don't have time to be thinking about the wrong shit when they're on the battlefield. Well, guess what? Your entrepreneurial endeavor, let's bring it back. I tell you, I always bring it back around. Your entrepreneurial endeavor, that's your position on the battlefield. And so these things that they're filling your head with, that you're going back and forth with people on posts with, don't give anything your attention that doesn't deserve it. Don't give anything your attention that doesn't deserve it, that will distract you from manning your position. To live a life distracted is death. Distracted lives are dead minds. Dead minds.
But think about it, that's what they've been doing.
Yeah. Facebook,
Instagram, what do? Mindlessly scroll.
Yes. But
Netflix, mindlessly watch.
But so we can close out with this announcement. I'm going to actually go public with it. And hopefully Facebook won't hate on me. But for those of you all that are connected to me, you can message me in the background, because there's going to be a different kind of social media that's coming up. And it's not about mindless scrolling. And I'm going to be facilitating. So if you want to know more about it, then I want you to reach out to me so that I can let you know about it. But we're going to take conversations like this. Yes, #BetaFun. We're going to really being serious about our entrepreneurial endeavor, and this is not for non-business owners. Listen to me. If you're not a business owner or a person that is not doing everything in your power to, get your shit together, this is not for you. This is not social media. This is social networking for business owners. And so if you want to be in an atmosphere that's going to be about you learning, you growing, you networking, and, me doing snippet trainings and stuff like that, where there's not going to be the distractions of all of this other shit, then message me. If those of you that hear the podcast recording, you're on the sites, send me a message via email. I do respond to all my emails. Email August Crenshaw at augustcrenshaw.com. And because it's not on my website just yet. So there'll be a beta group that's going to start in about 10 days. And then the big beta group will start in September. And then the full-blown launch is going to be in 2020. It is time for some things to change. It is time for some things to change. And so I'm one of them people, I'll be in the background, always moving and doing something instead of running my mouth talking about everything that's going on. And those of you that want to join me, you are more than welcome. So.
Yep, we're repping beta.
Beta. We rep the betas. woo, woo.